On this week's show, the Alouettes continue their winning ways versus the Stampeders, and Outside the Nest with Vernon Adams Jr. All that and more coming up next.
All right, folks, we've been cleared for takeoff.
I'm gonna be iconic.
And welcome to the Alouettes FlightDeck, the premier Montreal Alouettes web media show presented by Royal Retros, where you don't need a time machine in order to get some sweet throwback merch. Head over to royalretros.com, use the code FlightDeck at checkout, and you will save 15% off your first order. I'm Tim Capper. You can find me on X or Blue Sky at Repact. That's REPPACT.
And I'm Cliffy D. You can also find me on X and on Blue Sky over at Cliffy D.
So did you survive the... we can't call it the apocalypse, but it was warm. I think we were beginning to melt, weren't we?
A little bit. I mean, I was expecting things on an apocalyptic scale, and it turned out to be a whole lot of nothing, really, when you think about it. I mean, it's just weird-looking skies more than anything else. Like, no tornadoes, no heavy torrential downpours, no thunder, almost nothing. It was like kind of a tease, really, when you think about it.
Well, and I will admit, I know our orange sky the other morning was really, really weird. We had it throughout most of the day because of the wildfires. I think it's in northern Quebec and northern Ontario. But, you know, it wasn't as bad as the one that I saw from last week. I think it was from Kamloops, if I remember correctly. You know, theirs was super burnt orange, no pun intended, by the way, at 3:30 in the morning. In the afternoon, and it was just like crazy. And it's, you know, we talked about how bad it was in Jasper 2 years ago and what they went through, and you know, this isn't funny. You look at the it's like, oh, you know, just because we're not seeing the smoke, there's no wildfires. There's wildfires everywhere in Canada. It's just absolutely crazy, and we just want everybody to stay safe, obviously, but it's, you know, not seeing the smoke does not mean there isn't a fire.
Yeah, and like right now, Toronto seems to be getting the brunt of it as a result, and starting to affect like going into New York State as well. So I mean, it's makes for some eerie photos, that's for sure. So, but yeah, I echo your same sentiments. Hope everybody stays safe, and you know, it's no joke, folks. I mean, we saw it in Jasper. We saw the after effects. I mean, even 2 years later, you're still seeing like it's kind of jaw dropping, and at the same time kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just kind of not heavy hearted, but at the same time you're sitting there going, damn, this really is something. Like it really makes you think about what people had been going through at that time. And yes, nature does have a way of healing itself, but I mean, just the fact that it has to go through this process, you know, it's almost like a regeneration process, and that's the way it has to be done. It's just kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that this, you know, we see it as devastation, which it is, but it's nature correcting itself, which is the weirdest thing to say on top of that. But I mean, it's either way. You know, luckily we didn't have to worry about that. Didn't have to worry about rain. It wasn't as hot as we thought it was going to be for this past week's game versus the Calgary Stampeders. That, you know, the first of a home and home versus the Stamps. But you know, either way. That too. Hey, by the way, okay, I'm going to say this, and I don't think we do give props where props is due. Obviously, we do say when we don't think our things are going right. I'm going to give all props because I don't know what this is like across the CFL, Cliff. I'm giving props to the Alouettes organization for now allowing anybody coming into the stadium to actually have a plastic bottle with a top to have water inside of it. You can actually bring water inside the stadium. Now, there isn't a way of filling it inside the stadium, but props to them for allowing people to bring in a bottle of water without having to spend some.
Yeah, it's got to be a clearish kind of bottle. Like, it can't be still. I don't think stainless steel bottles are acceptable. I don't know if those like Stanley cups that people that are all the rage, I don't know if that's considered acceptable. I think it actually has to be an actual plastic bottle. Like, if you were to go to the store and buy like a bottle of water, like, you could in theory bring that into the stadium sealed and use that. But yeah, the fact that there's no refillable fountains is a little disappointing. I mean, I know not every single stadium has that, and I get it to a degree because obviously team wants to make money. They want to, sell you that $6 bottle of Evian or Naya or whatever the hell the brand is. But I think it's this. Esca. That's not why I'm drinking this, by the way. It's just kind of what
product placement. Were you paid for that?
That's just no. But hey, y'all, holla! Like, let's talk money. Let's go. Like,
that's about saying. I joke. It's like
we are open for business, ladies.
Yeah, bringing Stanley Cups. By the way, that's wrong sport. But I knew what you meant when you said it. So
yeah. But yes, it is good that the Alouettes are allowing that. I mean, a refillable water station would be awesome, but at least it's a step in the right direction. Let's put it that way. I can appreciate, that you obviously they want to sell you that $6 bottle of water, but at the same time, they're not going to give you a hard time if you bring in a sealed water bottle, regardless of the size or anything like that. As long as it fits in your bag, then you're good to go. So yes, you're right. When the team does bad, when the organization does bad, we're going to talk about it. But when they do good, we also got to talk about it. So you're right. I'm glad we're doing that. Give them their props for making that decision. And hopefully this will lead to maybe one day we do see those refillable water stations in Percival Molson Stadium.
Yeah, that one's on McGill, though. You and I both know, with being at McGill all the time, I know where the refillable stations are. But unfortunately, because of where they are, they're not technically, quote unquote, accessible to everybody at Percival Molson because you have to go into the main building itself, one of the main buildings. But it is what it is. And by the way, we'll talk about it after the interview tonight. We'll talk about something else that's positive, a giveaway. Didn't see that one coming either, but I'm kind of glad they're doing it. But there's a giveaway that the Alouettes are going to be doing, and we'll have to talk about that because that didn't see that one coming. And speaking of interviews,
who doesn't like free swag?
Exactly. And speaking of interviews, Cliff, I think we're continuing one of our again this week. One of our new segments.
Absolutely. We are continuing the Outside the Nest series, this time with a stop in Calgary, which is apropos because the Alouettes will be in Calgary this coming Saturday. So we're so thrilled that we were able to provide yet another part of this series. And we are welcoming back an old friend who now is wearing Calgary colors. We're very excited to once again welcome back to the flight deck the one and only Vernon Adams Jr. So make sure you stay tuned for that, ladies and gentlemen. We get a chance to talk to Vernon from his perspective as as part of a member of the Stampeders, but also just to talk about his time in Montreal as well. I mean, 2 times actually in Montreal. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It was definitely a great chat with a great individual.
Yeah, so stay tuned. As we have been doing, it's a little bit of a tease of the full interview itself. It will be released on its own the next day that you'll be watching, so within the 24 hours span, so do stay tuned to it. But we've seen that when it came to, as an example, the Cody interview that we had done, or the Mark Trustman interview that we had done, sometimes you do need a little bit of a tease in order to be nudged over to watch the full watch or listen to the full thing in itself. So do just that. Continue what you're doing. We really do appreciate it. Talking about the game itself here, Cliff. The Alouettes, they beat the Calgary Stampeders. They won 37-30. One of the things that we were concentrating on when we talked about Flight Deck Live this past week, obviously was 2 things. Third quarter, and how their tackling situation was going. And I think all in all, and I think I'm right when I say this for both of us, it did seem, at least for one game, both of those 2 things were a hell of a lot better than what they have been over the past 2 to 3 weeks.
Definitely a marked improvement, that's for sure. I mean, the fact that Calgary was still able to come back and make a game of it is still something that the Alouettes will have to work on. I mean, we've talked about the resiliency, about this team coming back from being down, and I think this is the first time in a long time where the Alouettes were not, they led from start to finish, if I'm not mistaken. This is a game that they should have won, I think, quite handily. And it's not because the Stampeders were playing poorly or anything like that. It's just that Montreal was really, truly firing on all cylinders. But they let Calgary hang around. And I think that's a big problem that the Alouettes have this year, is they're letting their opponents hang around. And sooner or later, I mean, yes, this team is 4-1 with their one loss coming in overtime. You let these teams hang around, it's going to come back and bite you on the ass. And right now, thankfully, it has not for the Montreal Alouettes, but at the same time, like I would love to see a more decisive victory. Like this is technically their second, I guess, biggest victory margin. Well, it's actually tied with the win against Toronto, to like the home opener against Toronto. They also won that by 7 points. That game too was a bit of a seesaw affair, back and forth, but something's going to have to give with Montreal. Like, yes, a win is a win, absolutely, but at the same time, I'd like to see. I see the potential this team has to be a very dominant team and one that can really put the pedal to the metal and just keep going until there's zeros on the clock. It's letting the other team, giving them a false sense of hope that, again, sooner or later, I feel like you're playing with fire doing that. Like sooner or later, you will get burned by that. So I would like to, now the Alouettes seem to have, I guess, at least for one, if only for one game, they figured out this third quarter woe that they've had, and they actually looked pretty decent in the third quarter against Calgary this past week. I'd like to see that continue. I'd like to see that get built upon as well. I want to see this team truly show who they can be, because there's no question the talent is there, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Like there is definite talent on this team. I think they just got to truly, fully realize it. And the faster they do that, the more dominant this team's going to be, and they will truly look like an elite team. Like we've been saying, this is an elite team. And I believe that they believe that they're an elite team, but it's now time for everybody to truly realize and accept that.
The game, too, and obviously everything wasn't perfect. It's one thing we didn't talk about in the post-game show is that, you know, more or less that the Alouettes have been pretty good when it has come to the fewer penalties that this team has taken. I think one of the games where it was completely different, obviously, was Week 1. We talked about that and how poor they did in that first half. They did commit a lot of penalties in this game. It's both teams actually did. I think it was close to 25 penalties between the two. I mean, what do you think it is? Because over the last couple of games, we have seen an issue when it has come to the major penalties, of the 15-yard variety. It's just something that I think that I think it's just a matter of that it's a little bit more of discipline that needs to be not necessarily taught, but I'm sure Coach Moss is going to give him give him help basically for this type of thing, because he knows they're better. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he mentioned in the post-game press conference also. But it just seems to be one or the other. We talk about where the Alouettes try to have that perfect game, that perfect 60 minutes. Haven't had it. They're close. Again, 5 games in, they're close. But again, these little things seem to pop up out of the blue. And luckily, nothing has caused them to has really come back to bite them in the butt and given them an L in the loss column.
That's just it. Like I said, you're playing with fire. I mean, and yes, sooner or later that L will come because of a lack of discipline. And it's funny. As I like to say, winning does fix everything. So as long as you're winning, little instances like this are a little bit easier to sweep under the rug, if you will. And I think there's a lot of that happening. It's like, okay, yeah, my bad. I didn't mean to, take that guy's head off, or I didn't mean to tug on that jersey. Sorry. We'll do it again. Does it again. But and there's no consequence. There's no reprimand or anything like that. At least nothing that we see. Maybe internally they may have I don't know if they do a kangaroo court where there's like, hey, you did that. Boom. That's like $20 or something like that. Who knows? I don't believe they do anything like that. I'm sure there's probably like CFLPA rules that are against something like that, but there has to be some sort of way to, I don't want to say punish necessarily, but at the same time, make aware that this sort of thing is not acceptable. It's only going to lead to bad. And, it's just like curb these kind of habits immediately, like kind of nip it in the bud before it becomes a big thing, before it becomes really evident. I mean, we've talked in the past about certain players are just prone to these bonehead penalties, and we cringe watching it because, like, oh, okay, you're better than that. We know you're better than that, and you still do a dumb thing like that. Like, why? And again, if there's no repercussions for that, then it keeps happening. That's the thing. I mean, if there's some sort of way to kind of police that, I think it really makes a lot of sense for the Alouettes to do something like that. But maybe for whatever reason, maybe there's just not something like that in place. But maybe that's something that's just maybe it's a self-awareness thing. Maybe it's something that they just have to find internally to hold everybody accountable, to make sure that, hey, when you take a penalty like that, you're screwing everybody up as a result. So knock it off. I guess that's probably the best thing you can do, is just like, yeah, just don't do that again, please. Like, and hope that they don't. And well, every game is a new game, right? So I mean, a new opportunity to get better, but at the same time, a new opportunity to make the same mistakes again. I guess all we can do is just hope and pray that they don't.
It's funny you say that, and I was going to bring this up later. But since you were kind of on the subject itself, talking about potentially biting themselves in the butt because of a particular penalty, and we learned today, as we're taping, we learned earlier today via Dave Naylor that Micah Awe has gone before the CFL to determine, and I guess to explain his actions on the late hit that he got penalized for in the game versus Calgary on a hit to Vernon Adams as he was sliding.
Yes.
Now, people, I've seen it on social media. We do understand what Micah has done in the past. I will admit, there was a reference today in what I saw today talking about a late hit on James Morgan when he was with BC. There have been dirtier players, in my opinion, and some of them have been former Als, dirtier players in the CFL. I've seen the replay itself. Yes, he slid. I do understand the rules in the CFL when it comes to protect, and in any sport, they're trying to protect the quarterback. I don't necessarily think that it was egregious, but I understand why he was penalized, because it was, by the letter of the law, he should have been penalized, which he was.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario.
We spoke to Micah after the game.
Yeah.
And he gave his side of the story. And again, I don't discount what he has to say. I mean, he clearly had no intention. He said he had no intention of. He's not trying to harm or maim Vernon, because again, they were teammates back in the day, and he likes Vernon. He's like, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just trying to do my job. And I get sometimes in the heat of the moment, something like that happens, and you obviously can't stop on a dime like that. I think there's a certain understanding, though, that like once a player is at a certain point, I mean, I know you can't just stop, especially when the quarterback is down and sliding. Vernon was practically on the ground when Micah hit him. I mean, I know you can't sometimes unbreak the glass, but at the same time, it's like I have to believe that Micah truly wasn't trying to kill. I don't think he had malicious intentions in mind. I think he was just caught up in the play, and it just got away from him. And okay, I can accept that. Like, I mean, from what we've spoken with Micah about, I mean, I think he's a good dude. I really do. I mean, it has nothing to do with the fact that he's wearing Alouettes colors. I'd be saying that, now having met him and spoken with him on a number of occasions, I definitely think he's a good human being. I just think that was an ill-advised play, or a play that just kind of went awry. I don't think it was supposed to go quite to the extent that it did. And I can understand, especially Calgary's one of Calgary's O-linemen got right up in Micah's grill and even shoved him as a result, and that earned an objectionable conduct as well for the Stampeders. But yeah, all this to say that it's a no-win situation no matter what. I mean, you don't want to see Vernon Adams get hurt as a result of this. You don't want to see Micah Awe get disciplined because things got a little out of hand. I mean, even the Calgary O-lineman that got all of that, and that too was just a reactionary result. He too got disciplined. I'm sure both he and Awe are going to get dinged in the pocketbook as a result of this, no matter what the hearing has to say or what sort of findings the league has against Awe in regards to this. But both of these guys are going to be lighter in the pocket, by the end of the weekend. So it's just an unfortunate thing that happened. And again, it's just simply a matter of do better. I mean, and I say that across the board, like just overall do better.
Yeah. One of the things too, and by the way, do you think he'll get suspended?
I hope not. I can definitely see a max fine, because again, obviously if Vernon was hurt and had to leave the game, 100% he'd be suspended. The fact that Vernon was able to continue on had no ill effects. I mean, we spoke with Vernon too after the game, and doing this interview with him, I didn't see anything that would suggest that he was less than 100%. So I definitely see Alway getting majorly dinged as a result of this, but I don't believe there's going to be suspension. Put it this way, I'd be very surprised if there was a suspension. A max fine, I can see that. Suspension, maybe not so much, but we'll see what the wheel of justice has to say for the Canadian Football League.
Yeah, and by the way, from what I've read, the max fine can equal half of a game check. So that can be pretty big in the pocketbook. So
that will, you know what? That will make you reconsider a lot of things, and maybe they'll reconsider. Again, Micah, I think only knows how to play one way, and that's like full on balls to the wall. Right in the edge of a lightning bolt. Like that's the way he plays, and that's what we like. We like seeing players that have that sort of intensity to it. But at the same time, I can understand why a lot of fans are looking at that and saying, "Oh, there he is, the dirty guy." That's just the way he plays, and he doesn't belong in the league, and yada yada. No, it ain't about that. I really truly think that play just kind of got away from him just a little bit. And again, I don't think he knows how to play half-ass. I don't think he knows how to half tackle or anything like that. I think that's just who he is as a person, and that's just his style of play is like that. And sometimes it can come back to bite you. And I think that's what happened in this instance. And I don't know. I guess all you can do is learn from it as best you can, and on to the next. I really don't know what else I can say at this point that can make sense. I'm not trying to justify it by any stretch of the imagination.
Right. Yeah,
it was an unfortunate circumstance. Why don't we leave it at that?
Yeah. I mean, the defense did well too, but I mean, they're quickly shifting gears. I mean, for the second game in a row, they had three sacks. And also too, you look at the offense. The offense is on it's going on all cylinders. Obviously, as I've mentioned before, and we've said a couple of times, is the success of the Alouettes is based off really on how healthy Davis Alexander can be. Through 5 games. Through 5 games, Cliff, this team is averaging well over 30 points. They're averaging 34 points a game heading into this game versus Calgary this week. This is something, and this was just by quick historical search. Looks like they've not been at a plus 30 average per game points per game since at least 2011. So this team, and remember who was at quarterback for them back then in 2011.
And the head coach who had also said that was the standard as well. Like if you get to 30 plus points, you should be winning this game. That was very much a creed by one Mark Trestman. Is that the goal is to get to, if you get to 30 plus points, your odds of winning are exponential. And the Alouettes of 2026, without Mark Trestman, are proving that to be very true. Again, averaging 34 points a game and 4-1 record right now. I'll tell you what, that's nothing to sneeze at, folks.
No, not at all. And obviously, everybody's talked about it. I don't know how. I don't think it's really much of a distraction. Maybe just in the back of the head. We see how well Tyson Philpott is doing. I mean, he is right now just this shy. I mean, we're only 5 games in, and he's this close to 800 yards already. It's mind blowing. He is on a pace to shatter league and Canadian records if he keeps up the pace.
It's
and obviously we've talked. Yeah. And we've talked about early potential MOP. Obviously, you got Justin Rankin over in Edmonton. You got Davis Alexander, and you got Tyson Philpott. But it's everybody together. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. And the reason why I brought it up is that now, yes, the Owls didn't practice yesterday because it was unofficial practice, I think, because of the potential for the high heat and humidity. They did practice today for the first time. Davis was practicing because he wasn't on the injury report. We heard a little bit more about what happened to him in the fourth quarter. We did find out that I think he said coming into the game he felt a little tight. Okay, could have been anything. Could have been, as we were saying before, could have been heat. Even at that point, could have been heat. Could have been humidity. Could have been not enough fluids. Whatever it may be. It's still a test coming up this week. I think that if there wasn't much made about it, because obviously Davis, I think, was just brushed it off with his post game interview with I think in the locker room and with Joey Alfieri. It's still it's concerning. It is. We don't want it to be what it was last year. He's been playing so well, more so than what it was last year. It's one of those times where we hope that there is a quote unquote cooler game weather-wise in Calgary. But we also really want to know what the extent of this potential, I won't call it an injury, issue. Because as I said before, Owls do as well as Davis Alexander plays.
And I want to truly believe it may be hydration related. I mean, if you don't drink, again, folks, in weather like this, drink your water. I don't care. Like, drink, juice, drink water, drink something, something with electrolyte. Get some Gatorade in you. I mean, for crying out loud, there's big Gatorade jugs on the sidelines. Take full advantage of it. I mean, if Davis Alexander is not doing that, then that's concerning. And I sincerely, and I think at this point too, especially if he's been practicing or feeling no ill effects of what took place, whatever the issue was, I have to believe it truly was a cramp and maybe just not enough fluids in the system. I mean, you got to drink your water, folks. It's funny. We laugh at these hydration breaks that are going on during the World Cup. Obviously, they're doing this to put advertisements and play commercials, but
no, they're not.
Oh, I think they are. But drink your water, folks. I mean, kids playing football, especially in this time of year, it is hot as F out there. Drink your water. Drink some fluid. Get some electrolytes in you. You got to do something and just stay loose. And all indications to me, anyways, is that seemed to be the issue with Davis. I really hope that's all it was just a matter of maybe he should have had that extra little bit of Gatorade or put a little salt in his water or something. Just something to keep him hydrated, keep him loose, keep him ready to go, and not a reoccurrence of what happened last year. Because, as you said, this team is going to go as far as Davis Alexander is going to take them. And he can't take them very far if he's on the bench hobbled because his leg hurts. We saw enough of that last year. And, I mean, it worked out in the end for the most part. But at the same time, again, there's a reason why we called one of our final episodes Hamstrung. It's something that's still to this day affecting the Montreal Alouettes in some way, shape, or form. In Davis's case, though, it could just be a simple matter of just not enough hydration. And that's an easy fix. And if that's all it is, then hopefully he's understood and appreciates how it's just something as simple as that, and he will act accordingly. And the team will act accordingly as well. Make sure that he's got I'd almost be like, listen, if I don't see you with a bottle of water in your hand every time I turn around, you're getting fined. Maybe it's something like that. Who knows?
What are your thoughts on the comment that Coach Moss said, where he said, if the score had been more than what it was, if the Owls had been ahead more, we would have thought about taking Davis out for the rest. Now, obviously, we're not coach. We're not, we can only be, unfortunately, in this type of case, we are our Monday morning quarterbacks. That's all we can be with this type of thing. Or in that case, it would have been Sunday morning because, game was on Saturday. When you hear that type of comment, what does it make you think? And it's like, we know Coach Moss wants the best for every single one of his players. But that type of comment, it's not necessarily that it worries me. I just find it an interesting comment. I mean, how hurt does Davis have to be in order for him to be playing? And again, we know he's a gamer. We know, we saw what he did in the Grey Cup last year. Basically was doing it on one leg. What does it take? What would it take for the Owls to take him out? And it's not that I'm questioning him staying in, but the comment itself was just a little, I don't want to say suspect. It was just an interesting comment that came from Coach Moss.
As head coach of this team, I think it is one of Jason Moss's duties to save Davis Alexander from himself. Of course, if Davis says he can go, he should go. But ask any athlete, they're going to always say they can go. They could have a limb hanging on by a thread, and they'll be like, I'm good. Put me back in there, coach. That's just how they're wired. That's just how they do. That's how they do what they do. And that's how sometimes these guys truly are elite. Like when you talk about being built different, that's being built different. And Jason Moss knows that. He's a former quarterback in this league. He understands what Davis has gone through. He's been there himself. He has been that guy. He's been in that situation. He hasn't quite put up the gaudy numbers that Davis Alexander has, but I mean, he understands what it takes to play football and be successful at that in the Canadian Football League. With that in mind, Jason Moss has to really think about the entire team, not just Davis Alexander. If there's any possibility, if there's even a shred of concern that he thinks that maybe Davis Alexander is about to do serious harm to himself on the field, inadvertently or not, then he's got to be the one that says, no, man, we're up by X number of points. You're done. You're good. Dustin Crum is here. Anthony Brown is here. They can take the reins. As long as they don't completely throw up all over themselves and piss away this lead, let them do the thing. And again, Dustin Crum has shown that he can run things if need be. I mean, yeah, he's primarily been doing short yardage this year and doing a very admirable job of it. But I think if truly need be, Dustin Crum could run this offense, especially if they're up by a considerable amount. I mean, this was a problem that plagued Mark Trestman and Anthony Calvillo back in the day. Remember when they would just run up the score, something fierce, and AC would still be in the game. And a lot of the times, I really feel like it was just to pad his stats, but leaving him open to potential injury. All it takes is just one person to go off half-cocked and try to injure AC. Thank God it never truly happened. I mean, at least not until 2013 when Ricky Foley came crashing down on him, and that was basically the end of AC in the CFL. But also, too, developing another quarterback, just in case. If the Alouettes were leading considerably, and by a lot of instances, they really should have been leading a lot more than what they were against Calgary Stampeders this past Saturday, I would have been perfectly fine seeing more of Dustin Crum in action to let him run things and let him drive the car, if only to keep Davis Alexander upright and okay, and make sure that he's good to go for the next game and the game after that, and so on. Ultimately, that is the job of the head coach, is to think about the entire team as a collective unit, not just focus on one person and like, okay, that's my guy and we ride or die with him. I mean, yes, that is the mentality, that is the mindset for the most part, but at the same time, if you know your guy's not 100% and you're up by a considerable amount, there's no question in my mind. You have to do what's best for the team, for the greater good. And yeah, you just say, you know what, man, you're good. You've done more than enough. Grab some wood and we got it from here, kind of thing. That really has to be the thing. And unfortunately, it just never got to that point because Calgary managed to hang around. And again, that goes back to Vernon Adams as a quarterback and the fact that he'll go down, but he'll go down swinging. He was going to do everything in his power to try and steal this game for the Stampeders, and damn near did it. But yeah, I definitely think if Jason Moss had to do it, he would have pulled Davis. But with the score being as tight as what it was, I understand why he felt like, okay, if he can go, then let Davis go. Thankfully, this time it didn't come back to haunt them, but that is something that still has to be weighing on the back of your mind just a little.
Yeah, and again, we'll be, obviously we'll be watching Dave, obviously this week when they head to Calgary to play the Stamps. Real quickly before we bring in and talk with Vernon Adams on our Outside the Nest series, before we preview the game, quickly, we usually don't give game balls, but I mean it's funny. We talked about the plays of this game itself. Obviously, the non-83-yard touchdown to Tyson Philpott. I don't know where I'm still questioning that illegal. I think it's illegal hands to the face. Come on, nah.
Hands to the face by Nick Callender.
Yeah, no way.
That's
no way. You look at the play. Yeah, you look at the play. There's no way. But
it also did explain though why Tyson Philpott was open, as open as he was. I think a lot of the Stampeder defense just saw, okay, this play's dead in the water, so that's probably why Tyson was basically left uncovered. I mean, if not, that was egregious. Like that is something that if I'm the defensive coordinator for the Stampeders, I'm going, what the hell? What are you doing leaving that guy as open as he was? Like he was open like a 7-Eleven. Like is crazy. But I think they saw the penalty. I think they must have seen the flags and like, okay, just stop. But give credit to DA and Tyson for seeing it through to the end, because you just never know, right? But Nick Calendar, man. Like I said, ticky tack call a little bit, but man, don't give the referees anything. Don't give them any ammunition. Don't give them even just a beyond a reasonable doubt kind of thing. Don't do that. Just come on.
Yeah. Play calling in this game, by the way, I never expected that we would see 2 flea flickers or in this game itself. And obviously there's the one that everybody's going to remember is the one where Tyler Snead is trying out for the Montreal Alliance in that touchdown throw to Tyson Philpott.
Yeah. Technically that's a gadget play, not a flea flicker, but yeah, is Tyler Snead like the shortest person to ever throw a touchdown pass for the Montreal Alouettes? Like I think about the quarterbacks that this team has had, and there haven't really been any short guys, like really short. Like, I mean, like the shortest I think would have to be like 5'11", maybe. Like most of them are fairly tall. But I think
5'11" or
have to be the shortest.
5'11".
See, that's and I know that's where things get tricky. Well, listen, they say Tyler Snead is 5'8", and respectfully, 5'8". I mean, I love the guy, but holy, calling him 5'8" is like, calling me, muscular. It's no.
Yeah,
but it was a hell of a throw. It was a hell of a throw by Tyler, so I will give him props. And what a catch by Tyson Philpott! Holy moly, that was just phenomenal. I mean, a great play overall from start to finish, and just caught everybody by surprise because. Okay, so a bubble screen to Tyler Snead. Okay, and give him the chance. He's going to do some magic, but we didn't expect that particular type of magic, and I don't think Calgary was expecting that kind of magic either. It was just a absolutely phenomenal play from start to finish. So well done, and that was AC. And it's funny, TSN actually showed him in the booth, kind of with a smug look on his face, like I did that.
Yep.
Hey, do your thing, cowboy. That is. Listen. What was it? The late great Don Matthews said, "If you're not on the edge of your seat, you're taking up too much space." And who helped coach AC to be one of the greatest? Don Matthews, the late great Don Matthews. So,
what time
for AC to be? Time to get busy. And AC, man, he got busy on that one. Woo! That was his play calling this year has been absolutely phenomenal, and just works perfectly with what Davis Alexander brings to the table. I mean, my goodness, like what a combo! What a combo these two are.
Yeah, and just saying enough, just so that Davis's streak for consecutive passes thrown with attempts without an interception is still alive. Yeah, it's again a lot of props, and and if you're looking for some of the stats, head back and watch Flight Deck Live from this past week. We give a little bit more of the information there, but before we talk about the upcoming preview again versus the Calgary Stampeders, we felt it was necessary to bring in a guy who has been on the team before. Everybody knows who this guy is, but we felt what better way to talk to him as he is now an opponent. He's on the other side of the field on the other bench. We'll be talking with Vernon Adams to continue our Outside the Nest series. So without further ado, let's talk to Big Play VA Vernon Adams.
Part 2 of our Outside the Nest interview series gets underway. We had Cody Fajardo on from the Edmonton Elks. Now we go down the Highway 2, I think it is, in Alberta, from Edmonton to Calgary. We are very excited this evening to be joined by Calgary Stampeders quarterback and former Montreal Alouettes quarterback, Vernon Adams Jr. Vernon, it's been a minute, but welcome back to the Flight Deck. We are so excited to have you on. I believe this is our 3rd time having you on the show.
Yeah, I think so, man. Appreciate you guys as always. You guys are my boys, and man, yeah, appreciate the love always, and yeah, thanks for having me.
Listen, you're our day one guy, man, and that's never going to change. I mean, you showed us the love back in the day, and you showed us that you're worth believing in, and you have not disappointed us a single bit. So
yes, sir.
Let's keep it. It's been about 10. This is your 10th season or sorry, I guess no, sorry, 11th season, but 10th year
Mm-hmm.
in the Canadian Football League. That's crazy.
I
Wow.
know, man. I'm getting old, man. They call me Unc and all types of stuff, man. Definitely. But I'm blessed, man, and grateful, honestly.
Well, I remember we had Kevin Glenn on on the Alouettes FlightDeck, and he was being called Unc by y'all and was it Rakeem Cato, Brandon Bridge, all those guys in that your first year with the Alouettes.
Yeah.
He remembers being called Unc, so I guess it's kind of a full circle time now.
Yes, sir, man. It's a blessing.
If I say it's a very different VA, Cliff, that we're talking to now that we had on the days where we were only doing audio. We were standing there at practice at that personal Molson during camp, and we had VA on. So it's been a long time, man, and it's we just it hasn't really mattered, Vernon, what team you've been with. As Cliff said, we've always followed you. We've always been proud of what you've done. Does it matter if you're playing the Owls or not? We've always been proud of you, and it's just as I've said to many people, the CFL family means something. You get to know it's more than just media and players and fans and players. It's that type of relationship that you can get that is very possible you may never get somewhere else. And I can only imagine what you yourself have gone through all these years, all the teams and stuff like that, and what you've experienced.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, man. The CFL family is different, man. Every team I've been on, I still get a lot of love from, BC, definitely Montreal, a little bit of Sask, even Hamilton, and I was there for just training camp. So it's been great. You know what I'm saying? I love playing up here, as you guys know, and like you said, the family's tight. It's cool.
Well, we definitely loved having you here 2 times, and it's kind of crazy to think about your career trajectory that you end up in Montreal not once but twice, and in a perfect world you'd still be a Montreal Alouette, but they say God works in mysterious ways, right?
Yes, he does, man. Y'all got a great one over there, so y'all in good hands, so no worries for that.
And it's because of you we have a great one, if I recall correctly. You taking a young Davis Alexander under your wing and showing him the ropes when you were basically running the show here. Talk to us about your first impressions of Davis when you met him back in 2022.
Yeah, man. Like you said, in 2022, we brought him in. It was a loaded QB room. Trevor Harris, myself, Dom Davis, I believe, DA, and we had this other young quarterback, Ben Holmes, who's actually like killing it overseas in the Elf League and stuff like that. And the organization, Danny and them, they were really high on Ben Holmes, I felt like. And it kind of seemed like Davis was the odd man out, but every time we looked over our shoulders, like he was making these crazy throws and making plays and doing exactly what he's doing now. And so like you couldn't hold that back. And so he ended up making the team, and he learned from myself, Trevor, Dom Davis as well. You know what I'm saying? Of course, AC being in the building, greatest quarterback of all time, arguably up here. And so it's just he's earned everything, that he's gotten, and I've known him from the Big Sky. You know what I'm saying? We didn't play against each other. He's younger, but him being at Portland State and me being at Eastern Washington, we knew of each other from us being there.
Yeah, talk about a learning tree. I mean, you, Trevor, AC, obviously. I mean, like just that alone is impressive. And then Cody Fajardo, when he came in, I know he worked with Davis an awful lot. I mean, anyone who's surprised at how well Davis Alexander has adapted to this game and played it for the Montreal Alouettes is, I don't know how you can doubt it. That kind of success when you have that kind of mentorship in your corner.
Yeah, definitely, man. Sorry, but like you said, Cody as well. So, yeah, man, and all of us, we all learned from greats. Cody learned from Ricky Ray, and I know Trevor was in some great rooms as well. You know what I'm saying? And so, And I can say I learned from Trevor. So Trevor and then Jordan McSimic and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, actually, you just answer my next question. I'm saying it begs the question for you. About you just said it was Trevor, but one thing I've always wanted to ask you is that obviously throughout your career, you've been from I said to multiple teams, Montreal twice, and um, when you look back so far at your career itself, do you really take stock into being traded twice for a number one pick? Does that for you, does that mean anything? Because obviously to me, if you're traded for a number one pick, not once, but twice,
Mm.
actually it's three times, actually, remember if I remember correct, I think it's three times because of your rights. For you as a quarterback, is it something that you look back on, or are you the type of person now to just want to look forward?
Um, well, yeah, now I'm just it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, I was like, dang, like I'm getting traded for a first round pick like three times, and Charleston Hughes, a Hall of Famer at one point, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, that that means these teams really see a lot in me, and it kind of boosted my confidence even when I wasn't even the type of player that I am now today. I was still a young player, still just an athlete running around making plays, just hooping out there. And it just showed me a lot that these teams believe in me and they see something in me, and they just needed to get it out of me.
Mhm.
Now that you're in Calgary, I mean, you bounced around, unfortunately, for any number of reasons, but you
Mm.
seem to have really found yourself in Calgary. Like this year alone, you have just been putting up some jaw-dropping numbers, which is no small feat considering the quarterback talent that's in the Canadian Football League right now. What is it about Calgary right now? What is it about this particular situation where you feel you're just feeling yourself right now and you're playing arguably your best football?
Yeah, like you said, all the QBs are hooping this year, man. They're playing good. This year for me, you know, um, I got some good guys around me, man. You know what I'm saying? We were all here together last year besides Dejan Brissett, which who was already in our offense. He played with Dinwiddie over there for a few years, so that's our offense, and everyone else, we all played in this offense. You know what I'm saying? So um we just had that chemistry, I guess, and these guys are making plays for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm putting in the area and giving them a good chance to make a play on the ball, and these guys are doing it. The O line's giving me the time to do that, and I'm just doing my best to try to take care of the ball as well. Try not to throw it up to any team meetings, and more one-on-one chances and give my guys opportunities to do their thing.
Especially guys like Jalen Philpott, Clark
Mhm.
Barnes,
Mhm.
Tevin Jones, another former Alouette that kind of got cast aside, but all of a sudden found new life in Alberta. I mean, first with the
Mhm.
Elks and then with y'all in Calgary. I mean, this offense has really been firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, we hope to, pick it up even more. You know what I'm saying? Um, you know, we're scoring points, but at sometimes, we're not as consistent as we want to be. You know what I'm saying? And that starts with me and always starts with the quarterback, and, just trying to get that right, get that down so my defense isn't on the field as much or we're punting too much. You know what I'm saying? Just got to hold up your end of the bargain as an offense, So um that's it. We could be more consistent. We do have a dangerous team. I'm not gonna lie about that. But we just got to be more consistent and be more um, trending this way instead of just here, oh, here. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
good team, but you just got to keep working on it.
I think one of the other things too is that, especially this year, we know how well the CFL is doing, Vernon. You know, and especially you and obviously Davis, and there are many other quarterbacks that are really doing well. Is that and I don't know if it is the longest in your career, but I know that you're on when uh you're taking care of the ball a lot better when it comes to, passing and stuff like that, because I think you're on one of your longest streaks when it comes to not throwing an interception. So it, what do you find for anybody who has been, looking from afar and they see any quarterback go on a run when they don't throw an interception? Are you able to explain why you're doing as well as you're doing? I mean, as I said, I don't want to, for anybody, it's like saying you don't want to talk about a no hitter when a no hitter is going on. So please, if something happens, don't blame me.
I'm gonna blame you if something.
Okay, I'm trying to change it, but you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How can you get
Yeah.
how can you get a fan or somebody outside of the game who's not paying attention to understand that how hard it can be to be that locked in that you're not making that you're making a consistent throw every single time you're dropping back?
Yeah. Again, I've, you get grades after games sometimes, and your coach is going to tell you the good, he's going to tell you the bad and the ugly and everything. So, it's been a few times where my coach, Jarius Jackson, has marked down, I have a turnover worthy play. You know what I'm saying? So that means it could have been interception, but my receiver did a good job getting the ball out or something like that. So I can't sit here and take credit for myself not throwing any interceptions with however many, throws it is. But it's just like I said, it's just sometimes, it's the receivers getting it good, like getting the ball out of the DB's hand or something like that, But again, I'm also working on, a lot of people know me as big play VA, throwing it deep and stuff like that. And then sometimes it gets you, if it's two guys back there and one receiver, a tip ball, this interception. I'm trying not to do that, I'm trying to be more, if it's one-on-one, give my guy a chance. And but receivers help me out a lot for sure.
Now, you just talked about big play VA. I hope you're not mad that we've also been calling Davis Alexander big play DA. Or did you give him that nickname as well? Or at least let him borrow it for a little bit?
Yeah, no, I don't. I didn't know y'all was calling him that, but I'm okay with that. He makes big plays, man. It is what it is, and it goes with it. So I've heard some other like Kenny Lawler. He calls himself a big play law and stuff like that. And so been a few other guys. I think Darius Slayton in the NFL, big play Slay, things like that. So yeah.
Well, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right?
Yeah.
Let's circle back to your time, both your times here in Montreal, Vernon. When you come back as a visitor, like, do you still get, I don't know, like that weird feeling of instead of turning to the left to go to the locker room, I got to turn to the right, or vice versa? Like, do you still get those feelings of I'm here and I should be here, but shouldn't I be going the other direction?
No, not really. It's been some years now since 2022 since I've been there, but I do feel like that's like a second home to me. You know what I'm saying? Just because I started my career there and I spent most of my career there at all the teams, and I still get a lot of love. You know what I'm saying, from a lot of the fans after the game. Every time I'm always there to take pictures and sign stuff for everyone who's appreciated me there and stuff like that. So but not like, oh, I should be here or anything like that.
Okay. Well, I do see still a lot of Vernon jerseys in the stands. I mean, whether it's you or the tray or the 8, I mean, it's believe me, there's definitely still a lot of love for you here. So,
yes,
in case you ever had any doubts about that.
Yeah, I definitely feel the love for sure. So, definitely appreciate it. You guys know that.
Let's look at the two cities themselves. Obviously, it's funny. I'm putting it this way: you have Calgary and Cowboys, you have Montreal and Poutine, and obviously a little bit more than just Poutine itself. But when you do come back to Montreal, obviously you're just here for a very short time. But if if you do come back in the off season with your family and stuff like that, what's one of the first things that you have to do when you come back to Montreal?
Man, lately it's been rouge poulet. Is that what it's called? Rouge poulet.
Yep.
Oh
Poulet
man,
Rouge. Yep.
poulet rouge. Sorry, poulet rouge. Just fire, guys. Like, we don't have it here in Calgary, so I love getting that. But definitely that, and Cafe Milano, getting some Cafe Milano sandwich spot, coffee spot, either in St. Leo or in Laval. I know St. Leo, that's Danny's spot though. I know about it, Danny. Don't worry about it. But yeah, those are a few couple of spots. And yeah, that's it really.
Okay.
I
Are you
like the
still
Pimentos place too. It's a Caribbean place as well.
Mm.
okay? I was gonna say, are you still effing with Boom Jays?
Is that the
It's in Point St. Charles. It's not too far from the downtown core.
Yeah, no, not as much. Yeah, I'll be in Laval mainly now when I go out there. I'm in Laval hanging out, except for like when I go throw, we go throw at the St. Leo at the dome there during the winter. Yeah, where the Owls used to practice and stuff like that. I forget what the field's called, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of. I was gonna say, Cliff. I think we know of a good rib spot in Laval.
Yeah, we
I
went.
remember
You know what I'm saying? Where we go? What was that spot called that was fire when we went there?
Jack Flat Barbecue.
Yeah, that gave me the Calgary vibes in Montreal. So in Laval, yeah, that's nice. That was really good. That's Gino. Yeah, we had a good time. That was good.
Now, did that help inspire you to win your second straight Stampede Bowl?
Oh man, that was a good one. That was a good game. Both of those Stampede Bowl games. That was pretty cool that what they do here, with the Stampede Bowl. That's the kickoff of the Stampede. So everyone comes to that, and then they do all their stuff out here during the weeks and stuff like that. So but definitely it was a good time.
Now, before we let you go, Alouettes Nation is starting to travel a lot better now. They're starting to go check out more Alouettes games in other stadiums.
Mm.
Now, for those members of Alouettes Nation that are going to be coming to Calgary this weekend, is there a place that you, Vernon Adams, would recommend to them to go grab something to eat? Is there a place that, like, what's your jam when you're in Calgary? Like, what's the place that absolutely 100% we have to go to if we're going to go see the game and see you play?
Right. Well, I'm very basic. But if you guys like barbecue and stuff, there's this chain. It's called there's Hayden Block, Cedar Block, and there's like two other ones, but it's something block and it's barbecue, and they're really good. So if you guys want some barbecue, go there. Steaks, they got, what is it called? Hys, HYS, and Ruth Chris, of course, things like that. You want your steaks and things like that. Me personally, I like a Montana's. It's like a barbecue spot, but it's like low key, like but it's good though. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I would say something like those. But anything downtown around 17th Street, you guys could have a good time and get some food.
There you go, Alouettes Nation. If you're going to the game, VA just showed you the way.
Mhm.
Vernon, again, we
Hey,
are so thankful.
Cactus Club is a good vibe too. If you guys want to go check that out, good vibe. And give you a little Montreal vibes. Go try it out.
There you go. All right, Vernon. Again, we appreciate you beyond compare. You have always been so good to us, and we always show the love to you. And it's just, we got to keep this going, man. I mean, that's, like I said, 10 years already. I say at least another 10 that we keep this up, man. I mean, we're so thankful to have you here back on the flight deck, even if it's in different colors. It's all good. But thank you as always for your time. We appreciate you, and best of luck this coming Saturday. Looking forward to another amazing football game.
Man, appreciate you guys, man, as always, having me on, man. The love, the support y'all always give me, man. I love it. I appreciate it. And anything for y'all, anytime y'all need me on, I got you. Are you guys coming out here this week too, or?
I wish.
Oh, okay.
Fortunately not, but we do have to get to, well, listen, we'll be for sure at Grey Cup in Calgary, so no pressure, but we kind of expect you to be there as well now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good Al's Stampeders. That'd be nice. That'd be awesome.
I think that's going to feed families. I think that's going to be, the ratings are going to be through the roof for that.
Sir.
So let's see if we can't make that happen.
All right, fellas. Appreciate y'all again.
Yes, sir. Thanks again, man. Appreciate it.
Always interesting to talk to a player that's been on the Owls before, especially when now, as I said, they're on the other side of the field. Vernon hasn't changed. as a person. He has, considering how long he's been in the league, Cliff, he's reinvented himself. He's become a better quarterback. He's become a veteran quarterback. And he's just using everything that he can to his advantage. Yeah. And that's VA. That's VA in a nutshell.
Yeah, he's grown. He's evolved. He's had no choice but to do that, because what worked for him, like the way he played 10 years ago versus how he's playing now, as I said, he's playing right now his best football. I really, truly believe he is showing that he is that guy. He is the guy that, when he came to this league, hot as a pistol, and just you saw the raw talent was there. It just needed someone to harness it. I think there was a little bit of that, and I think there was also, too, he had some growing up to do a little bit, too. And I think he'd be the first to tell you that, too, is that he's not that, punk kid that came into this league, thinking he was hot stuff and he was going to, walk all over everything, because he that's who he was in college, and he played like that. And I won't say he got humbled necessarily playing in the Canadian Football League, but in a lot of ways, his career path would sort of suggest that, maybe there was a little bit of humbling that went, but I think it was more him learning and growing as a result of it. And look where he is now. I mean, Calgary is definitely one of the top teams in this league. Vernon is easily one of the top quarterbacks in this league. And like a fine wine, he's getting better with age. He's so dialed in right now. And honestly, just like how we say that the Alouettes are going to go as far as Davis Alexander is going to take them, the Calgary Stampeders are going to go as far as what Vernon Adams is going to take them. So there's no question in my mind. When it's all said and done, I would not be surprised at all to see the Calgary Stampeders hosting the Grey Cup and being a part of the Grey Cup as well. And I wouldn't be mad at that at all, if only because this would finally give Vernon the chance to finally win a Grey Cup. I think that's the one thing that's kind of missing for him to be considered truly a great quarterback in this league, is to finally go out and win the big one. Playing in the game is one thing, but to actually win it, you look what it did for Trevor Harris last year for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. He was always a bridesmaid, never a bride, until he finally won the big one. And I think it's going to be like that for Vernon as well. And until he can get to the game and win the big one, I think for him, it's not going to be considered a fully well-developed and fully realized career for him. So I would love nothing more. Like I said, we've loved him as a player. We love him as a human being. I would love nothing more for Vernon Adams to finally get that opportunity. And to be able to talk to him the way we have, be able to call him a friend, it's one of those things that money just can't buy. He is such a genuine person in and out, and I am so thankful that we get to call him a friend. And obviously we want the best for him no matter what, regardless of the uniform he's wearing, whether it's Montreal, Calgary, BC, what have you. It doesn't matter what uniform he's wearing. We want nothing but the best for him. So again, Vernon, thank you so much for joining us once again. We said you're always welcome on here, even if you're not playing for the Alouettes. So glad to talk to you one more time, my friend.
Yep. And just remember too, you can listen to the full interview. It will be available on our YouTube page and over on our audio page. Speaking of audio and video, we're on social media. You can find us anywhere. You can find us over on X, Blue Sky, over at Alouettes FlightDeck, Alouettes FlightDeck Pod over on Facebook, and on Instagram and YouTube over at Alouettes FlightDeck. And again, like I was saying for YouTube, first subscribe. We've grown exponentially over the past couple of weeks. We do appreciate it, but make sure you do subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell button to know when we do go live or when a new show is available. For that particular reason, you'll know once these new, these new series episodes do come out. The full show does come out. You'll know, and Flight Deck Live. You'll know when we go live, like we are going to be doing following the game this week versus the Calgary Stampeders from our home studios. Mm-hmm. Also, full archive of audio is over at www.alouettesflightdeck.ca. Looking for merch, head over to flightdeckgear.ca, where you can get things from the If You Know You Know line, logo merch, whatever it is, you can find it there. And if you want something, hey, DM us. We'll see if we can get it out there for you. And also, we want to thank our presenting sponsor, of Royal Retros. If you go to Royal Retros and use the code FlightDeck at checkout, you will save 15% off your first order.
Mm-hmm.
So coming into this game, we joked at the end on FlightDeck Live this week, about the over-under. The over-under for this game in Calgary this week, Cliff, even with the Alouettes, they are currently favored by 1.5 points. The over-under for this one, dude, is even higher than what it was last week. This one currently is at 63.5 points. So, considering you think about what the game was last year in Calgary, the one that I was at, they didn't score this many points. This is these two teams are completely different teams than they were last year at this point. Can they, the rate that the Alouettes are averaging, can we see them getting up a 6 after 63? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not? It could be a good game. But when you look at this matchup itself, it's tough to go with a back-to-back because you need to get a new game plan, even though you're playing the exact same opponent from the week before. What are your thoughts when we think about this matchup between these two teams for Saturday?
Well, it's interesting, the over-under. I mean, what was the final score last Saturday? 37-30? What's the total of that?
Yeah,
6-7.
Oh, stop. God. That's getting edited out.
Once again, shout out to Gen Z.
Act your age. Come on, man. Act your age.
Act your age, not your shoe size. Oh, God, you sound like a mother. Anyways, the potential for a high scoring is definitely evident, as we saw this past Saturday. Now that things are going to Calgary, could that happen again? Absolutely, it can. I mean, especially if Vernon Adams, if all it really was just a little cramp, he's going to want to go and ball out. You heard what VA had to say during our interview with him. He's looking to ball out too. That's just how these guys are wired. They're cut from the same cloth, and they're going to light it up. Like, I really thought, in a sense, I thought it was going to be even more of a high scoring affair this past Saturday, just with those two gunslingers going at it. Like, I really thought defense was going to be thrown out the window, and we were going to see like an arena football league type of score, like 75-68 kind of thing. That's what these guys are capable of doing, especially when Vernon Adams is throwing 6 touchdowns against the Toronto Argonauts 2 weeks previous. I'm not saying I would have wanted to see that versus the Montreal Alouettes, but clearly he has shown the potential is there. Davis Alexander has also shown the potential is there to light it up as well. So once again, I'm fully expecting this to be another shootout. I think that over-under, I would definitely be taking the over, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, barring something catastrophic happening to both quarterbacks, I think if they play this game coming up on Saturday the same way they played it Saturday previous, we're going to see we're going to see a lot of touchdowns. We're going to see a lot of scoring. We're going to see defense more or less be thrown out the window. You'll still see some nice defensive plays. There's no question about that, but I definitely think there could be a lot of footballs in the air in Calgary.
And I just happened to double check as the taping. It's supposed to be 30 and sunny, and this game's during the day, so it's a little bit opposite from what it was last week. It's the 7:00 start here Eastern, but yeah, this is going to be basically the hottest time of the day when this game starts. So
yeah, so drink your water, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go,
players, all of you. I know you watch the show. Here. Show the logo. Fine, why not? Drink your water, lots of it. Drink the Gatorade. Drink your juice. Drink any sort of liquid you can get in your body that's going to replenish you. Do it. Full stop.
Yeah,
that's the extent of my coaching right there. So, but yeah, again, beautiful. Beautiful weather. Going to be probably another scorcher out there. I mean, it's Calgary, right? I mean, it's big sky country, so stay hydrated. I mean, work your plan your work, but stay hydrated. I think that's probably the best advice that we, as spectators and commentators of this team, we can offer is stay hydrated. We do not want cramps. We do not want people pulling up lame or anything like that because you didn't drink enough. Drink your water.
Exactly. We look at the injury report from today for the Alouettes. It's a little bit more because this technically is the first day that the Alouettes have been practicing this week. It's very possible we may get a Devontae Dedmon back if he's activated. We could easily get a Cole Speaker back if he's activated because they were full at practice. Same Arthur Hamlin too. Again, it's day one. It's a shorter week. We'll see what pops up tomorrow. Defensive stalwart David Perales actually has an abductor injury or was hurting a little bit, so he was limited today. Mustafa Johnson had a back, was limited. Alexander Hollis, so it's a hip. That we do now, by the way, we now know what was happening with Alexander Hollis.
Yeah, because all those guys were balling out big time this past Saturdays, and I sounds unfortunate, but maybe they paid the price a little too high with their bodies as a result. David Perales with that abductor, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's your upper chest area. I mean, with that massive swat that he did on third down for Vernon Adams pass to ultimately seal the game for the Alouettes. Could be that. We saw Moose with that incredible sack on VA. And I think he ended up throwing him down and rolling onto his back. So I'm praying that it wasn't something severe, but that could be a possible reason. And yes, the touchdown that Alexander Holland scored, which was an absolute beauty, but he took a lick for it as a result. So now, as you said, now it's his hip might be a little bit dinged up as a result of it. I mean, you that's the thing with this game is it'll cost you. I mean, if not financially, then physically as well. I mean, these guys, they're paying the cost to be the boss. And, hopefully these are just minor things. Hopefully just little tweaks that, with a little bit of rest and a little bit of, a little bit of time with the therapist to get that taken care of. But ultimately not surprising when you hear these names and why they're on the injury report. So.
Yeah, 100%. One of the big names, by the way, they haven't posted today's practice injury report for Calgary, so I'm only basing this off of yesterday's. One of the big names, obviously, that's been missing from the Stamps roster has been Reggie Begelton. He was limited, so he's getting closer and closer to coming back. So we'll see what the status is from today and for the rest of the week if he may finally make his season debut for the Stampeders. But we'll see. But I mean,
that'd be interesting, considering, especially when you consider too that not only have the Stampeders not had his services, but also too they lost Damian Alford to the NFL or in the offseason. But look who's stepped up and placed Jalen Philpott, Dejon Brissett, who had 2 tutties against the Alouettes, Tevin Jones, who has just been scoring touchdowns out of nowhere. I mean, a former Alouette who's just been straight balling alongside with VA. So, I mean, yeah, if you were to add all of a sudden Reggie Begelton to that mix, oh, damn. that's nothing to sneeze at, folks. That is, I mean, already the names that I mentioned are, just doing absolutely wonderful things this year. But if you can get Reggie Begelton, who I've said year after year is among the best receivers this league has to offer, get him back in that lineup. And he's been out for quite some time due to injury. But if you get him back in the lineup, that has the potential to be a game changer as well for Calgary.
Yeah. By the way, just double checked it for today. It was posted on their X account for the Stamps. Reggie Begelton was still listed as limited. So I don't know. We've seen people limited still play, but I know they're probably like any others. They want to make sure he's as close to 100% as possible before he plays. So I would not be surprised if he is again. He is a scratch and does not play. But we'll see. Stay tuned to all of our socials for when we get more information when it comes to the final injury report and for the depth charts, which will come out on Friday. before we go, I talked about it a little bit before. We talked about the goods and the bads, that usually pop up from the Alouettes, et cetera, et cetera. One of the things that we didn't expect, now, obviously, this is the 80th anniversary of the team itself. I know today they put out something on socials about this. As we are taping, the 15th is the day that AC, was it today? That AC set the CFL record for most touchdown passes by a quarterback. We have not seen that much when it comes to the 80th anniversary. You and I have talked about it before. There's no decal on the helmet, which I'm very surprised about. There's no merch other than what we're seeing from the boutique. People who work at the boutique have the 80th logo on their T-shirt. There really has been no merch at all when it comes to 80th. Now, to be fair, what I'm about to mention really isn't an 80th thing, but it's happening for their, if I remember correctly, it's happening for their throwback. It's happening on their celebration game that they're having for the 80th anniversary on August 20th. So the team announced today for the first time since John Bowman had one, the Owls are going to be giving away this time for the first 5,000 people that make it into the stadium for that game, that Thursday night game versus the Ottawa Red Blacks, a Davis Alexander bobblehead.
That's so cool. To see QB Fun in bobblehead form is going to be awesome. And folks, I mean, if you needed a motivation, and it's kind of interesting they're doing it on a Thursday night game. I mean, I thought, according to the Alouettes, everybody wanted Thursday night games. That's why we schedule Thursday night games, because everybody wants them. Well, then so to me, this feels like, okay, you're trying to tempt people to come. Like maybe people are waffling on the idea of, do we really want to go to a Thursday night game or that? Well, if you go, you can get this bobblehead of Davis Alexander. Makes me wonder if that's sort of a dangling carrot to get more people out to Thursday games, and you try to convince them that Thursday games should be a thing. And you and I have been very clear about the fact that they're a necessary evil, but Montreal has had way too many Thursday night games. I think the rest of the league still needs to get caught up as far as having those. I mean, I guess it's unavoidable. You're going to have at least one, maybe even two Thursday night games, but there was a time in Montreal I felt
it's the final of two. It's the final of their two.
So I guess it's not so bad really in the grand scheme of things too, but at the same time, it just feels like, okay, this is how you're going to have to entice people to come out to a Thursday night game, is by giving away a bobblehead. Like, I mean, it'll work. I guarantee you're going to get 5,000 people there, because I'm sure all 20,000, if you can sell at the stadium and get 20,000 people in there, like that's, what, 1/4 of them, or only 1/4 of them are going to get that bobblehead. But that's a hell of a motivating factor when you think about it. I mean,
well,
it looks cool.
Too. I agree. I agree. I think too, though, and maybe because you're looking at their schedule, this is probably the closest game that they could get to their actual anniversary of their very first game in 1946, because that happened on September 7th, 1946. So, again,
but yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how many people show up. But hey, 5,000 bobblehead for free. I don't think it's going to be anything like it is for the Toronto Blue Jays when they give away what they've been doing this year for their 50th anniversary stuff, because people have been staying in lines between 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. I don't see that happening. But then again, you never know.
As I said earlier, who doesn't like free swag, right? But did you see that the Argos are also giving away a jersey of sorts, but it's styled like
the
that,
replica of a sweater. Yeah.
Replica of a sweater from 1991 when Bruce McNall, John Candy, and Wayne Gretzky were the owners of the Argos, and they held up these sweaters as like for a photo op. They're actually going to do a jersey of that for a Toronto Argonauts game. Like, that's, again, this is how you get people to the stadium, right? I mean,
yeah. Exactly. Last thing. I know we talked about it real quickly. I caught you last week on Flight Deck Live in between your choking fits. I hope you're feeling better, by the way. That was bad, especially when we're live. I did some math. The Alouettes attendance, 26 versus 25, Cliff, is down 9.2%. I know you said there really isn't anything to worry about, but now knowing that it's actually down about 5,000 people total, 9.2%. Seeing that also that I think it's actually down league-wide too, especially in some of the major markets like Edmonton for one. Do you still stand by what you said before that you really don't think there's any concern?
It's like anything else. It's cyclical, and I think you can. There's a lot of factors, and I guess some people may call them excuses as to why people aren't actually coming to the stadium. Again, when it's like 30 plus degrees out, and you're sitting there, baking in the sun. Yeah, I can understand why that wouldn't be so much fun. As I said, I feel that the Thursday night games are poorly attended, except Winnipeg being the one exception. That's a different story altogether. Like just the overall success at Winnipeg, like the consistency in which they get 30,000 plus. Like they finally had their sellout streak snapped recently, only by a couple of hundred, but still they're getting 30,000 plus. So I mean, people obviously love football out in Winnipeg. So I mean, they've got nothing to worry about. But you look at the rest of the stadiums in the league, and they're just not nearly as full as they could or should be. And is it concerning? Yeah, to a degree. It won't be concerning next year because of the new TV deal that the league will be entering into. Whereas the need to have butts and seats are not going to be as prevalent as it would be, say, right now. This is still a gate-driven league by and large, but as of next year, not so much. It won't be as big a concern. It'll be a nice to have. If you can sell 20, 30,000 seats to your stadium, more power to you, but they're not going to turn the lights out on you because you don't have a full stadium as of next year because of this incredibly massive TV deal. Is it concerning? Sure. I mean, I absolutely love being at the stadium. I mean, I will certainly go, every single home game. I mean, if we can go on games on the road, we've already done one in Edmonton. We're planning to go to Ottawa. If God forbid something works out that we can go to yet another game, we certainly will. That's how we roll. We love seeing live football. We love going to watch the Montreal Alouettes do their thing. So it's getting now, I think, everybody else on board. And there's, like I said, a myriad of reasons why you're not seeing Percival Molson quite as filled. I mean, you're still seeing a decent. I feel like it's still a decent turnout. 18,000 at the last game on a Saturday night where it was just hot as hell. There's a festival going on every weekend in the summer. I'm not using it as an excuse. I truly think this team should be selling out every single game because they've been playing some pretty outstanding football. It's been tight. It's been exciting. Davis Alexander has shown that he is worth the price of admission alone. Tyson Philpott, without question, is worth the price of admission alone. Yeah, like, this is a very fun, exciting team. There's in theory, there is no reason why this team shouldn't be selling out, and you should have people begging for tickets, like finding a way to get inside, standing room only, whatever. I want to see this football team play, and it's not happening. And there's any number of reasons why it's not happening. I refuse to use it as an excuse. I truly believe that everybody should be coming out to the game, should be coming out and supporting this team because they deserve it. They're certainly playing like a team that deserves to have a fully packed stadium. But again, this is not just a Montreal problem, though. Like, you're seeing it in other cities as well. I think Winnipeg truly, might be the only team that doesn't have to worry about, empty seats. And if they're empty, it's because everybody's over at the Rum Hut. But it's all these other stadiums now that, depends on the team, depends on how they're playing, depends on their fan base, what they're going through. I mean, Ottawa right now, I think, boy, that's going to be a tough sell. I mean, I actually feel for their ticket reps trying to get people into the. I don't know what kind of bobbleheads you have to give away to get people into those stands, but I mean, you're going to have to do something for sure because right now with Ottawa being 0-5, still like the one team in the CFL that has not won a single game yet this season, something's got to give, because that for the longest time that was the fan base. That was almost the model, the franchise model as far as that game day experience. Like everybody has to go to TD Place and be a part of the action and everything like that. And now it's like crickets. And the fact that they've had a few losing seasons has not helped the cause any. I think a lot of people are just like, you know what, I'm good. I'll just stay home, watch it on my big screen. Got cold beer in the fridge, no lineup for the bathroom. I get it. I can appreciate that. These teams now are faced with a bit of a crisis, and they've got to find a way to get through it. They got to find a way to get people out of the house, away from the big screen TV, back in the stadium, back to enjoying live football. And the best way to do that is win. Put together winning football. I mean, the Montrealites were doing it, and yep, as I said, there's a lot of reasons why you're still not getting a full house there, but I got a feeling it's going to come, especially if they keep winning. Davis Alexander keeps playing the way he does. Tyson Philpott's still making these ridiculous catches and so on. We're going to see a full houses again. I think it's just, they say timing is everything, and I have a feeling that's exactly what it is in this case.
Yeah, for sure. So remember, stay tuned for our socials for any information that may come across the wire. Also, stay tuned for Flight Deck Live. It will be occurring about like it has for any of our past road games. When we're at our home studios, it'll occur about 15 minutes after the game ends. So stay tuned for all that information. But other than that, again, thanks to Vernon Adams for joining us for Outside the Nest series. And and again, the full chat will be available on YouTube and on audio either Friday or early Saturday. Friday or early Saturday.
Yeah.
So
again, folks, like and subscribe on YouTube, or make sure you're following, or hit all the notifications. You do not want to miss the full chat with Vernon Adams, and you don't want to miss us going live on Flight Deck Live after the game. So again, we keep saying it over and over, but it's true. The best way, like and subscribe on YouTube, hit that notification bell, make sure you're with us. Make sure the flight, you're a part of the flight crew. Make sure you're with us. We go live when we drop these episodes, when we drop these new chats with players, and so on. Make sure you're a part of the team, folks.
Exactly. So for the final time here at Flight for the Alouettes Flight Deck, for Cliffy D, I'm Tim Capper. We're on final approach.